So we're going to put aside everything in this hour, and I'm going to tell you that earlier in the week, I was able to catch up with Mr. Ben Lang of Lang Barbecue Smokers. Now, if you know anything about barbecue or watch anything on TV, the barbecue cookers, there's two names that will come to mind. Some of you may know more, I do, but there's two names that come to mind. First one's Myron Mixon. Myron is obviously very popular on all of the barbecue cook-offs and so forth, and Myron is known as the winningest man in barbecue, which if you watch any of the barbecue cook shows, you see them cooking on a Lang barbecue cooker. And I got to tell you, this being Memorial Day weekend, my Lang barbecue cooker has been rolling for about 7 straight days now. Some of you may have seen the photographs, but I have had tons of great food come off of that thing in just the last week, and we're going to continue to do it over the weekend. I've got a 36 Hybrid Deluxe from Lang, and after talking with Ben Lang, I'd been saving up for one of these things and wanted one of these things for a long, long time. And I was finally able to get with Mr. Lang, and I said, you know what, I'm going to pull the trigger on this thing. And lo and behold, the 36 Hybrid Deluxe Smoker Lang Barbecue Cooker. It is the Maserati. It is the Lamborghini of cookers. Resides now at Armed American Radio Ranch. So with no further ado, let's jump over to Ben Lang, who's going to stay with us for the hour. We're going to have a great time. Get out a pen and a paper. You're going to want to take down some of these ingredients, and you're going to learn a lot about barbecuing and what it means and maybe some differences between grilling and barbecuing and how we do it on the big smokers that he's got. Ben Lang, welcome to Armed American Radio, my friend. It is a real pleasure to have you here.
Mark, I'm excited to be there with you, man. Really excited. It's been the highlight of the week.
Well, I got to tell you, your cooker, I got to go back. I got to tell you, now you know this because we've talked a lot over the past and off air and so forth, but when I first started looking for a cooker, I mean a cooker, not just a grill, your name immediately it rose right to the surface. Anybody in the know knows Lang Barbecue Smokers, kind of like that BDO commercial on TV, right? Anybody who knows BDO. If you know anything about smoke and food, you know about Lang cookers. And I think one of the most important things is because you guys do something different with your cookers, and that's a reverse flow. Can you explain what that means?
Yeah, exactly, Mark. Our cookers actually do cook better by design. They have a unique system that lets the heat flow under the food and back over the food before it exits through a smokestack. So the nickname that it got through the years was reverse flow because of the heat flowing under and over the food. The truth of the matter is the mechanism that makes it reverse its flow has always been a griddle, a baffle plate that is a griddle that lets the fat render onto the griddle. The heat runs under and over the food. Fat renders, grease drains off and out of the machine the way it's designed off the griddle, actually. But you get a moisture and flavor that's beyond compare. It's just like the true moisture, not mimicked moisture like steam and condensation and things of that nature when you're trying to make barbecue.
All right.
But the food critics actually say that our rig is the quintessential barbecue smoker because of the flavor it punches into food.
You know, it does, and I can tell that firsthand. I kind of want to go back to, a lot of people use Weber's. I want to go back in time a little bit here. I want to get some history here, and I'll give you some of my own personal history here and how I graduated to where I am today. I've always been a barbecue. I couldn't tell you, Ben, I've never started a gas grill. I've never owned a gas grill in my life. I've started off, my father started me off. I learned how to cook over charcoal when I was about 8 or 9, 10 years old with one of the old classic Weber kettles.
Perfect.
You know, and with charcoal and wood chunks. And I never saw a need to go to gas. My grandfather had a gas grill. I used to rib him about that all the time. But the extent of his expertise was really, he just grilled chicken wings. I started expanding as I got older, and I took that Weber kettle. It went with me everywhere. You can do some amazing food on a Weber kettle, can't you?
Oh, Weber's a fine product. They're gas grills as well as their charcoal grills. They're fantastic. Weber give us the ultimate flattering lately. We had a delivery this past September in 17 of our famous 36 original patio smoker cooker. Went right to the Weber plant, to Robert Stephen himself, head of R&D. Yeah, I called on Robert and introduced myself and told him how excited we was that he decided to take one of our cookers up there and take a look at it. We just told him that we hoped he had enough sense, and his company did, that they'd buy a product instead of knocking it off.
Well, you can read an awful lot into that Weber would take that cooker up there. They're obviously, you said R&D, right? I mean, I guess they're going to take a look at the heat process.
Yeah, exactly. But no, if you look at what's on the market these days, a lot of the grill manufacturers, this is our 30th year in the business.
Unreal.
When we started 30 years ago, I told folks that there'd come a time that everybody that built a cooker would imitate a version of a reverse flow because it just cooked the meat too good. It just sizzled and seared it more. You know, I mean, you ever had flavor like that on anything?
No, I've not.
Exactly.
In fact, I did some segments before, and we'll go there throughout the hour as we talk more specifically about some recipes. So I don't want to jump too much ahead, but no, it absolutely does. And I'll tell you about the first thing I cooked on it when I got it after it was delivered. And boy, I got to be honest with you. Let me go back real quick to those Webers for just a second, because a lot of you listening to the program have a Weber cooker, and some of you maybe have not graduated into the whole, man, I just don't cook enough to have one of those. I'm going to fix you on that. It doesn't matter how much you cook. You do have to have one of these things for a lot of different reasons, and I'll explain why. But, Ben, we've got 1 minute, so let me kind of lead into the break with this. I graduated really from the Weber cookers, which I think, anybody who's ever cooked on charcoal has cooked on a Weber or some form of it. Most of us have used Weber. The quintessential barbecue grill. And you can cook indirect heat on that. You can cook direct heat on that. There's a lot of different ways to cook indirect. You can snake the coals around it. You can pile them up on both sides. You can put them over on one side. You can snake it or use a minion method to get the coals going and the wood on there later. There's all kinds of different things you can do. But I've often heard Myron Mixon say he can smoke anything on a Weber grill. When we come back, I want to go through the lineup of the moisture part, and that's the water pans and so forth, and why it's not necessary in a Lang. When we come back, we're going to get neck deep in Lang barbecue smokers and teach you how to cook some amazing food on Memorial Day weekend. Don't go away.